been an up and down start to Season 3 here in the Everton Takeover rebuild. We do find ourselves top of our Europa League group after 2 games, but in the Premier League we sit in just 16th position, having won only 2 of our opening 7. And a big reason for that has been our inability to score goals. A 5-0 win over Crystal Palace notwithstanding, we've managed to tally only 3 goals in 2 calendar months here to start the Premier League season, leaving us with just 8 goals scored and a goal difference of -3. New signing Gerard Deulofeu has been amongst the goals with 3 in his opening 6 games upon his return to Goodison Park, but Matheus Cunha is yet to score in the competition. And with 2 tough Premier League opponents here in today's episode, we're really going to need to see Matheus Cunha find his shooting boots at some point. We'll start the episode with highlights of our home match against Newcastle before we travel down to London to face Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That will be our featured game of the episode before we round things out with highlights of our 3rd Europa League game against Copenhagen to round out October. So Matheus Cunha will get the start up front against Newcastle. He is flanked by Lewis Dobbin and Assane Diao. Stack and Ferguson continue to be the pairing in midfield, whilst James Justin and Ben Godfrey come into the back 5 alongside James Tarkowski. This was a close game between 2 teams who are close together in the table, but we had the better start. Lewis Ferguson breaking through the back lines early and forcing a good save from Martin Dubravka, and Cunha picked up the loose ball from the resulting corner and forced a second save in quick succession from the Newcastle United goalkeeper. The United keeper certainly was the busier of the 2 in the first half. Maxim de Kuyper putting in one of his patented crosses, which Anton Stack got his head to. But again, the Newcastle goalkeeper was equal to it, parrying over the top this time. But Jordan Pickford did have his work to do in the first half as well, and he did it well. However, he couldn't prevent Chavez from scoring this absolutely wondrous strike. Chavez picked up the ball about 25 yards from goal, took a couple of steps with his left foot and then absolutely unleashed. We would have an equaliser shortly after the break though. Assane Diao slipping Matheus Cunha in behind, and he finally breaks his drought in the Premier League, putting the ball coolly past Dubravka to make it 1-1. So Cunha finally off the mark in the Premier League. And just 3 minutes later, this back and forth game went finally in our favour for this first time. Anton Stack with a really neat little finish on the half turn after James Garner had nodded down the ball to him. I was fully expecting the flag to go up, but it stayed down. But unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to the lead. A second incredible goal from Newcastle, this time from Hakimi from the free kick, and the wall didn't jump. Hakimi came over as a second man, but he took the free kick directly. And both teams would have their opportunities to win the game. Lewis Dobbin cutting in off the left-hand side, a la Reece Nelson, but his right-footed shot ended up going wide. And then Anthony Gordon had a chance to win it all for Newcastle, taking the ball down on his chest in the penalty area, find a right-footed shot first time, but he too only managed to fire wide. Jordan Pickford would not have got there, I'm confident. So it was a close fought game between 2 teams who are close together in the table, and we only managed to come away with a point. Still struggling to put wins on the board so far this season. However, it was very, very good to see Matheus Cunha open his scoring account in the Premier League, and we'll hope that he can get a second as we move into our featured game against Tottenham Hotspur. Unfortunately, though, we will be without Maxim de Kuyper for this one. He picked up an injury in the last game that will keep him out for a couple of months, so instead James Justin switches over to the left-hand side. Nathan Patterson comes back in on the right, and Graham Potter has reconfigured the back 3, still trying to find a combination that works. This time he's gone with Anderson on the right, Ahmed Hodzic on the left with the 5-star weak foot, and the new signing Isaac Toure will play through the middle. Ferguson and McTominay will be the pairing in midfield, whilst Reece Nelson and Assane Diao support Matheus Cunha up front as he looks to continue to be back amongst the goals. Whereas Tottenham Hotspur have finally found a permanent new goalkeeper. They have an unbelievable prospect in 21-year-old Gallo, who is already an 88 overall at such a young age. They also have Porro, Militao, Romero and Gaia at the back. Midfield 3 of Luis Alberto, João Neves and James Maddison, whilst Heung-min Son and Dejan Kulusevski support Sesko up front. So without further ado, let's head down to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and see if we can finally get this Premier League season rolling. So we are up in the booth for another all-important Premier League matchup. A big focus of ours this season is, of course, on Europe. It's Everton's first season of European football for, I don't know how long, but a long, long time. And that's obviously a big priority of ours to do well in the Europa League this year. We can't, however, take our eye off the ball in the Premier League, because we're trying to build sustained success here at Everton, which means primarily a consistent top 6 to 8-ish finish. That doesn't mean Europe every season, of course, but if you finish in the top 6 to 8 each season, you're going to put yourself at least in amongst the teams that have a shout of European football. That's exactly what we did last season, finishing in 6th position. Not ordinarily a European place, but thanks to results in not just the Premier League but in other domestic competitions, we managed to squeak in to Europe. Firmly in the bottom half of the table this season so far, though, and we're really going to have to look to get our season on track here today. It was a decent result in game 1 of the episode against Newcastle. They're a strong side and they did play well, and I think we did okay to come away with a draw. Good save by Jordan Pickford as a shot comes in early from James Maddison. The Newcastle game frustrating because the 2 goals they scored were basically 2 worldies. And on the one hand, that's frustrating because if it wasn't for 2 incredible goals with a minute probability of being scored, we would have won 2-0. But on the flip side, it's not quite so frustrating because we played well enough to win 2-0. And if it wasn't for 2 incredibly high level of difficulty goals, we would have done that. But we've showed at least that we're good enough to beat teams like Newcastle, who are going to be in amongst our primary rivals for those kind of 6 to 8 position finishers. Tottenham, I imagine, likely to be in a similar situation. Toure finds Nelson on this left-hand side. Former Arsenal man, of course, Reece Nelson. Been at Everton for a couple of seasons now, though, and has been very, very good for us when he has been on the field. One season basically completely written off because of a torn ACL. But his first season in Everton Blue was very, very good. I do feel like we can get a win here today. I don't think Tottenham are a particularly tough side to play against. Some sides are just beyond their starting 11. What a ball that is to Assane Diao. Is he going to square it, or is he going to get a shot off? He's going to get a shot off and it's going to go wide. Trying to test Gallo, the youngster in the Tottenham goal, early, but Diao couldn't quite get it on target. He looks an incredible young goalkeeper, Gallo. An 88 overall at just 21 years old. But we're going to have to, at the very least, get shots on target if we are going to test him, obviously. So Tottenham, I think, not the most difficult of opposition based on tactics at the very least. They do have a very strong starting 11, though. And they work the ball up to Shesko up front. And Matheus Cunha steals it away, though. Good to see Cunha get on the score sheet for the first time in the Premier League in the last episode, in the last game rather, as well. As James Justin picks it up on this left-hand side. Shame to see Maxim de Kuyper go down to injury as well. He's one of the more influential players in the team. One of the more quietly influential players, I would say. Quite underrated in his influence on the team. Matheus Cunha's in the box. Can't quite find him. Can't quite win the header either. Tottenham first to the second ball. Kulusevski on this right-hand side. Oh, and James Justin can't quite cut it out. Ahmed Hodzic does well to come over and make the tackle, though. Pedro Porro on the right-hand side for Tottenham to take the throw. João Neves Defended well by Reece Nelson, but Tottenham maintain possession. Kulusevski again. Ahmed Hodzic can't stop the cross. Isak Toure is there. Just does well to delay the Tottenham attack for a brief period. And eventually just into the side netting by, I think, Kulusevski. And it was. Treading right on the line. But the ball never left the field of play. I think, strangely enough this season, despite the fact that we have struggled to score goals, I think it's actually defensively where we've been letting ourselves down. Because although we haven't really managed to score too many goals in the Premier League, we have been creating opportunities. I feel like we've just been incredibly unlucky. And we've created plenty of good opportunities. We just haven't managed to put those opportunities in the back of the net. Whereas, so I think our general attacking play has been good. It's just our finishing that's been poor. We're creating the opportunities, we're just not taking them. Whereas I think defensively, we have been poor. Our general defensive play has been lacking. And so that means in the games where we have managed to score goals, case in point, it's as if I was trying to demonstrate to you exactly the point I was trying to make. In the games that we do manage to score goals, we let ourselves down defensively. We fail to take the ball away from the opposition, and they punish us by taking the opportunities that at the other end we don't take. We've had an opportunity to take the lead already through Assane Diao, but instead it's Pedro Porro half an hour into the game that opens the scoring for Tottenham. And you simply can't allow a right back to do that to you. You cannot allow a right back to get into the box, to beat one of your best defenders and then put the ball in the back of the net. It's poor defensively. And I think we will continue to create opportunities this season. But as long as we fail to hold on to leads, and as long as we fail to be the team to take the lead in games, we're going to continue to struggle. Toure has been an addition to the side with that in mind. Of course, we're trying to replace Jarrad Branthwaite, who has been a very influential defender for us and a fixture of that back five. So it's no surprise, I guess, that with that disruption, we are struggling to defend as well as we have in past seasons. Nathan Patterson lays it in front of Ferguson, but can't quite get a shot away. Ferguson presses high, though, and wins the ball back. Does manage to keep it in play. Matheus Cunha with a header across goal, but Gallo parries away. Did well just to get that one on target, to be fair, Cunha. And the referee has blown his whistle. It is going to be an Everton free kick. Matheus Cunha's placing the ball, but it seems too far away from goal to take the shot. And it is just going to be a three-man wall. It is going to be too far out for a shot, so we'll just switch to Lewis Ferguson and we'll just try and drop the ball in behind for Cunha to run onto. And a bit too much on it. Cunha didn't even make the run in behind in the end. And Ferguson, I think, uses a hand to basically bat that down in midfield. Referee waves play on though, and Kulusevski comes away on the right-hand side for Tottenham. Just gives it inside to James Maddison, who can't find a teammate. Neither can Matheus Cunha though. So trying a new configuration of central defenders at the back. It's got a little bit awkward with the addition of Toure, because although he is left-footed like Jarrad Branthwaite, he's not quite as suited to that outside centre-back position as Jarrad Branthwaite was, because Branthwaite had a bit of pace about him. He wasn't quite as... I wouldn't say Isak Toure is exactly a lumbering centre-back, but he's not the most mobile. Not as mobile as Jarrad Branthwaite was, but we do kind of need to play Toure As McTominay strikes from range, straight at Gallo though. We do kind of need to play Toure on the left-hand side because he is left-footed. But that means we are not as mobile as we used to be. If we move Toure into the centre of defence like we've done today, good save, Jordan Pickford. If we move Toure into the centre of defence like we've done today, then that means Anderson or Tarkowski have to play in one of those outside positions. It means Ahmed Hodzic has to play on the right, on the left-hand side rather. And he does have a 5-star weak foot, but it's still not ideal. So we're struggling to find a configuration that works at the back. Good challenge. Son wins it back for Tottenham immediately though. Chesko, Maddison, strike from range. Pickford holds on. And Tottenham have a man down, so we're going to try and hit them on the quick counter-attack and take advantage of that. Nathan Patterson needs a bit of help though. He just carries the ball into the Tottenham half. Past Heung-min Son. And towards Matheus Cunha, whose header goes harmlessly wide. Not sure of the nature of that Tottenham injury. Not sure if it even is an injury. It is to João Neves. So we'll see if he carries on or whether he has to be taken off at half-time, which is rapidly approaching. Matheus Cunha steals the ball away. High up the pitch, though. Can't quite reach the middle of the field. Lewis Ferguson just lays it in front of Patterson, and Patterson's just on his heels. You have to be more active there. You have to be anticipating that pass into space because it's the only pass on that Lewis Ferguson had. And Nathan Patterson's just on his heels. And the ball goes harmlessly out of play. And we absolutely let Tottenham off the hook there. Because we had an opportunity to get back on level terms. Kulusevski into the goal scorer Porro. Gives it straight to Justin. But as always, we're unable to react quickly enough. As soon as you get the ball back in those kinds of situations, the CPU team is instantaneously trying to win it back, and your player, no matter how early you make an input, is so slow to react, so you just inevitably end up losing the ball again. Another good save from Pickford to keep it just 1-0, and Tottenham will put in the corner with what will likely be the last kick of the first half. Referee allowing them to play on though, as they do still have what he's deeming to be an opportunity from the same phase of attack. Ahmed Hodzic clears though, and it is going to be 1-0 Tottenham at half-time. Disappointed to be 1-0 down, especially since it was another instance of poor defending that's allowed Tottenham the goal. And other than that, it's been a pretty even game. I'd say Tottenham have had the better of the first half, but not overwhelmingly so. I certainly think we are still very much in the game, and I still think it is there for us to get a result. But we are going to have to be more clinical in the second half if we are going to come away with anything from this game. So back out for the second half here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we are looking to level things up and more here in this second half. Heung-min Son gets Tottenham off to a good start though. Lewis Ferguson with a nice little block, but I think there was a hand in there somewhere. The referee has given a free kick. Tottenham to face Newcastle in their next game, our previous opponents. As Patterson manages to head clear, Reece Nelson can't quite get there. So Tottenham continue the attack with, I think, Luis Alberto taken away well by Matheus Cunha though. And despite the fact that I'm staring right at Reece Nelson and absolutely spamming the run button, he just stands and watches. Just watches me dribble towards him, with no motivation to make any kind of run whatsoever. And that's how we concede the second. Come on, man. It's just, your players just aren't aware of anything that's going on around them, just ever. Like Reece Nelson just standing and staring. Like, be aware of something. You're You're playing a football match. Get in a position to receive the ball. Look like you want to receive the ball. Nathan Patterson the same in the first half. So much space in behind. Lewis Ferguson with one option on, and that was to lay it in front of Nathan Patterson. And he's just stood there. He's just stood there watching. And they Tottenham get a free kick for that. How can that possibly be a free kick? Oh, it's just every advantage to the CPU team. Every little advantage. Reece Nelson comes away on the left-hand side. Romero, I believe, eventually decides to try and close Reece Nelson down. Good challenge by Ahmed Hodzic, but it falls straight to Humansson. We had about 4 players in the area. They had 1. Falls to the 1 Tottenham player. Nice little ball in behind for Matheus Cunha. Reece Nelson once more. There's absolutely no point crossing it, because we have Lewis Ferguson in the box and Tottenham have 4 defenders. McTominay brings it down. Manages to hold off the Tottenham challenge. But Tottenham gather possession once more and recycle, and it already feels as though this game is gone. We don't give up. We've seen numerous times this season already. A 3-2 win over Leeds in the Carabao Cup after being 2-0 down springs to mind. Instances of when we have been down, we've managed to fight our way back into the game. But it does feel like this one is gone. We came out with every intention of getting back in this game in the second half, but that's just taken all of the wind out of our sails. That second goal for Tottenham. Especially the way it was scored. Such a narrow angle. Pickford had initially made a good save. And how Maddison squeezed it in from that narrow angle, I don't know. Again, 3 players in the area. And the pass goes straight to the Tottenham man, because all 3 players just stand and stare at it. I am very much enjoying the game. Far more so with this new slider set. But there is only so much you can do with sliders. You can't fix the code that's embedded in the game. And it's things like that. I'm going to try not to moan too much, because, I mean, Tottenham do deserve to be in the lead. Like a 2-0 lead for Tottenham at this point isn't a particularly unfair result or unfair scoreline, especially since Diao now makes it 2-1. It's just the manner in which the goals are scored sometimes. Even this one isn't a particularly satisfying goal to score, because you're just running in behind with Assane Diao, and the defender Militao is kind of caught into... He's caught between a rock and a hard place there. He could come over and challenge Diao, but that would leave Matheus Cunha completely open for, you know, a squared pass. So he does just try and hold his ground between the 2. But that probably is the wrong decision. And it probably is better for Tottenham defensively if Militao does come over and challenge Diao. That's a great ball in behind for Diao. Can he get his shot away? Yes, he can. Parried away by Gallo. And the ball was loose in the penalty area there for a moment, but Tottenham are first to the ball and they do come away with it. Scott McTominay trying to win it back, but it's nicely worked by Tottenham. And Šeško works it out to Kulusevski on the right-hand side. And Kulusevski sets Šeško away in turn. Cut out by James Justin, who does manage to hook clear. Matheus Cunha can't quite win the header, but it was a good challenge at the very least. And that's not a good challenge. We'll take a free kick and a yellow card here, ref. And we will make a couple of changes as well. No booking, I'm surprised to see that. But we will make a change or 2 before Anderson takes his free kick. So 3 changes for Graham Potter and Everton. 70 minutes into the game. Anton Stack, Ebosele, and James Garner all taken to the field. And if we are still level in about 5, maybe 10 minutes or so, I think we're going to step up into our attacking game plan. That's a real waste from the free kick. We had an opportunity to do something there, and we end up just taking it short and giving the ball straight back to Tottenham. And with 20 minutes to go, I am tempted to step up into our attacking game plan already, because I think the momentum is with us and I want to take advantage of that and grab a second goal here to come away with another point. Good challenge, Anton Stack, to win the ball back. Oh, a nice attempted ball in behind from Reece Nelson. I think that would have found Maxim de Kuyper if it wasn't blocked by the Tottenham man. And we just have to recycle through Toure. Ahmed Hodzic on the left-hand side. Reece Nelson. James Justin can't quite find him. Just needed to slip it in behind for Reece Nelson. But Justin gets it wrong. Intercepted by the Tottenham man. And it's another chance to take some time off this clock and kill this game. Tottenham give it straight back to us though, and Diao is away on the right-hand side. Really nice ball in behind for Hassan Diao. And Cunha's in the box. Can he get there? No, he can't. Good intervention from Militao. And the same from Stack to win the ball back. Reece Nelson on the left-hand side. Inside to James Justin. He does enter the Tottenham box but loses the ball as he does so. Tottenham away on a quick counter-attack through Šeško. Ahmed Hodzic there to meet him, but he's beaten far too easily. Isak Toure not beaten quite so easily, but Tottenham do have the ball in our penalty area until Anton Stack intervenes and James Maddison is offside. Going to make another change or two here, and we are going to step up into our attacking game plan for these last 15 minutes or so. So it's going to be 2 more changes for Graham Potter. Cunha and Justin, the men to leave the field. And it is going to be Gerard Deulofeu and Jack Harrison to replace them. So we're going to step up into that attacking game plan. Jack Harrison is going to play left midfield alongside Reece Nelson on that left-hand side, who will play left wing. So throwing an extra attacker into the mix, taking a defender off and replacing them with a forward. And if we could have won that header, we would have been in business there. But Reece Nelson was the target of the ball all the way across the field. And he's not the best target in terms of his aerial capability. Again, a fantastic intervention by Ebosele, and it just bounces straight back to the CPU team, and they're in behind. Just completely... By making a good intervention, you're rewarded by allowing the CPU in behind. So frustrating. Ebosele beaten this time. Son with the ball. Ebosele again can't quite get his foot on it. He can this time though. Takes it away from James Maddison. And Hassan Diao finds Anton Stack. And Jack Harrison is in behind. Pedro Porro racing back to try and meet him. Jack Harrison with the ball into Reece Nelson. Decent enough effort, but the sliding attempt by Nelson isn't quite enough to turn the ball goalwards. Ebosele has got some pace about him, so we'll just go outside. Hassan Diao crosses into the box looking for Nelson. Again, he's the aerial target and he's not a good one. We need to play the ball on the ground if we're going to change this game through Reece Nelson. And Ahmed Hodzic is struggling to get there. Eventually, he does. Anton Stack. Ebosele on this right-hand side. There's Hassan Diao. Into Deulofeu. And Hassan Diao again just on his heels. Needs to expect that ball out in front rather than to his feet. Gallo, the young goalkeeper, showing some composure there. And we'll take the free kick, ref. Thank you very much. 2 minutes to go of normal time. As Tottenham continue to hold on to a 1-goal lead. Reece Nelson on this left-hand side. Beats Pedro Porro. Gerard Deulofeu rather is in the box. Can't find him with the cross. And we're just going to step up into our ultra-attacking game plan. We have stoppage time left to play. And that's a really good intervention by Ahmed Hodzic. Lays it in front of Jack Harrison. De La Feu again in the box. Can we find him this time? Hassan Diallo, the target at the back post. James Garner finds Anton Stack, who strikes from range, and what a goal! Anton Stack scores the equaliser, and I've accidentally skipped the instant replay because I was so excited that we'd scored the equaliser. So we don't get to enjoy Anton Stack celebrating the goal that could give us a point against Tottenham Hotspur. But we are 2 minutes deep into 3 minutes of stoppage time, and Anton Stack may well have rescued the game for us with an incredible strike. We don't get to see the instant replay or the celebration, but that late strike is enough to give us a point. We will go into instant replay or the match highlights and take a quick look at it, because I think it does deserve an extra look. So a frantic minute or two there at the end of the game. But we have come away with another point, another 2-2 draw. And I think this one feels like we're on the more fortunate side of things when compared with the Newcastle game. I feel like we were unlucky to come away with a point against Newcastle. I feel the complete opposite in this one. Tottenham outplayed us, but we did just about enough to grab a point. And like I said earlier, this team rather just does not give up. And here's that goal from Anton Stack again, headed clear. James Garner nods it down on his chest with his right foot. And I think that might be two contenders for goal of the season in this episode. This one a bit more of a traditional goal of the season. A chested down ball and a half volley into the top corner. But I think the goal against Newcastle was just as good. The little half turn with his left foot across the keeper. And that one felt really good. I don't want to keep just putting a point on the board after each game. We're drawing more games than we are winning at the moment. And I think we're losing even more than that. But I guess a point is better than a loss, and we've got two of those here so far today, which does bring us to our final game of the episode, a Europa League clash against Copenhagen away from home. We are currently tied atop Group D in the Europa League with Copenhagen, so a win here would go a long way towards seeing us through to the knockout stages. So Graham Potter does go with a strong starting 11 for that reason. Jordan Pickford starts in goal. Ebosele comes in for a rare start on the right-hand side. James Justin continues on the left in place of De Kuyper, and it's Noah Mbamba, James Tarkowski, and Isak Toure at the back. Garner and Stack, the combination in midfield. Diao and Nelson support De La Feu up front this time. We were looking dangerous almost immediately in this one. Reece Nelson taking the ball straight from the kickoff, working down the left-hand side before cutting inside onto his right-hand side and curling a shot just wide of the Copenhagen goal. And we forced numerous saves from the Copenhagen keeper as well. James Garner let him fly from range, but the goalkeeper diving away to his right-hand side to parry this one away. And it would be another save from the resulting corner. James Garner whipping it in. James Tarkowski turning their header towards goal, but unfortunately slightly too close to the goalkeeper to beat him. If it was tucked in the corner, it certainly would have. Our 6'9" centre-back is an absolute beast in the air though, and when he gets his head to the ball, make no mistake about it, it will end up in the back of the net. Gerard De La Feu whipped the free kick in this time. Isak Toure held off the challenge of the Copenhagen defender and headed past the keeper to make it 1-0. And we controlled the game for large periods, and we did double our lead about 20 minutes from time. It was another header, this time from a less likely source. James Justin whipping the ball in to Lewis Dobbin at the back post, who just squeezed his header inside the near post. A second absolutely wondrous free kick did give Copenhagen a way back into the game about 10 minutes from time. Against Newcastle, we saw that the wall didn't jump. This time they did jump, but too soon. The second man ran over it, allowing Larson to whip it with back to front curve basically into the top corner of the net. But Luca Waldschmidt would put things beyond doubt with a really nice goal. I'm not sure whether to put this one on the goal of the season contender. It's not a spectacular finish, but it's the little roll away from the defender that does it for me. So we'll have to see how the rest of the season goes, and we'll see how many goals we've got to put on that list of goals of the season. If we come up with plenty more, then that one will probably stay off. But if we're scraping the barrel, then it will probably make it on. But that win does mean that we are clear leaders in Group D now. Augsburg also managed to win, so they moved to 5 points, 2 points behind us. Copenhagen down on 4. Apoel yet to take a point from their games so far. As for the Premier League, we do move up a couple of places to 14th, but we are still just on 9 points after 9 games, having only managed to win 2 of our opening 9. We've drawn 3 and we've lost 4, so we have indeed lost more games than we've drawn or won. West Brom do sit above us in the table, but in theory, that should be a very winnable game to open the next episode at Goodison Park. We're going to face Arsenal in the Carabao Cup as well, a tough draw away from home before we round things out with Nottingham Forest away. And with Fulham, our following Premier League game, after taking on Copenhagen once more in the Europa League, we have a really good chance to put some serious points on the board in the Premier League. So we'll look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.